Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, we must start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone rule well, and have taught me this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the elect, starting with 144,000 on down to the rest of the elect that believe. All right, I'm your fellow servant Amath of GMS Toronto, coming at you once again with another live lesson. And it's going to be another edition of Doomsday Prophecies. All right, connecting world events to Bible prophecy to strengthen and encourage the faith of the hopeful, or not the hopeful, like the elect. Okay, of course, Yahweh writes about the elect, but the elect. All right, and as well as chanting down Babylon the Great, which is AKA America. It's also synonymous to the rulership and empire of the Edomites, biblical nationality of so-called white man. So as you see the title of this lesson, it's all before you, and soon it will be too late. All right, it's all before you, and soon it will be too late. Okay, and what exactly is all before all of us? Starting with Israel, really only dealing with Israel, because only Israel can be saved and will be saved. But this time around, it's going to be the elect, starting with 144,000. So what's all before us? Well, the prophecies, right? The words that are written in this book that the Lord ordained his prophets to write thousands of years ago. It's all playing out before us, okay? And as well as the understanding of these events, these prophecies, it's all before you. The truth, okay? Wisdom, knowledge, understanding is all before you. Um, and soon, okay, soon it will be too late to receive wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, to get right with the Lord, to establish a relationship with Yahweh Shem Shai, okay, to repent. Soon it will be too late, right? Which is also linked to famine of the word, where the Lord will take his prophets off the highways and the byways, out there in the streets and off the internet. And at that point, it will be too late. There's nothing you can do, say, or cry about to get a second chance. This is the second chance, this grace period. All right, so let's open up with Isaiah 30:8. In the NLT, it reads, "Now go and write down these words. Write them in a book. They will stand until the end of time as a witness," okay? "That these people are stubborn rebels who refuse to pay attention to the Lord's instructions, which are given to you by the prophets of the Yahweh, or Yahweh Shai." Okay. They tell the seers, right? Stop seeing visions. They tell the prophets, don't tell us what is right. So, Israel doesn't even want to see the prophets prophesy, the true prophets prophesy. And if we are to prophesy according to them, all right, 2/3 that is, they want to tell us lies, right? Don't tell us what is right. They tell the prophets, don't tell us what is right. Tell us nice things. Tell us lies. Okay, which the majority of the prophets of Israel are doing just that. All right, the majority of the prophets of Israel are lying and basically pacifying Israel back to sleep. All right, when the Lord is getting ready to steamroll this whole earth, bring all levels of mayhem and destruction, wickedness and evil. All right, this is the final show, the final play, so to speak, the final show before the Lord establishes righteousness and paradise back on the earth through Yahweh Shai and the rest of the 144,000, the elect. So knowing that that's what comes after this destruction, you have to consider how destructive, all right, and the level of evil and wickedness that the Lord is getting ready to bring, if it's going to signify a time that will be where there will be an end to all wickedness. Okay, it's we can't stress enough how pissed off the Lord is and the destruction He's getting ready to bring. Okay, it says, "Forget all this gloom." See, they wouldn't want to hear the message I just said. Right? Forget all this gloom. Get off your narrow path. Okay, narrow meaning the only thing that's truly meaningful, all right, in this wicked society and this rulership that we're under is worshiping Yahweh Shem Shai, serving the Lord, building up your faith, the inward man, the spiritual man, and then as well as teaching this word, man. Okay, forget all this gloom. Get off your narrow path, and that's a narrow path to take. Straight gate. Okay. Um, Stop telling us about your Holy One of Israel. It says, "This is the reply, the Holy One of Israel, the Holy One of Israel. This is the reply of the Holy One of Israel. Because you despise what I tell you and trust instead in oppression and lies." Okay, when you trust in oppression and lies, that means you don't even, I can't even say you don't know that it's oppression and lies. That's how far gone our people are, but they do know. It's just that they're just that wicked. It's really that simple. Right? The majority of Israel is just that wicked, where they can know what you're saying is the truth. Okay, but excuse my French, they don't give a fuck. They don't care, and that goes back to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Right? Let me get that real quick, and I'll come back here. Then I got 2 clips I'm gonna get. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. We always bring this out. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. It reads, um, "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily." And our people know that they're wicked, okay? But because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts, right, which is the minds of the sons of men, okay, starting with Israel, is fully set in them to do evil, okay? Verse 12, it says, "Though a sinner do evil 100 times and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall go well, it shall be well with them that fear the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, which fear before him. But it shall not be well with the wicked." Okay, starting with our people. "Neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before Yahweh Shem Shai." So the days of the elect are eternal. These are the first steps of entering into eternity for the elect. All right, this captivity and everything we're learning in this grace period. All right, and overcoming the great hour of temptation, the MOTB. All of that is the first steps of the elect entering into eternity. Okay, paradise of righteousness. I'm gonna read this in NLT. It says, verse 11: "When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong." Okay, and this is why I entitled this lesson, why I entitled it "Through the Spirit," which is, it's all before you. Okay, it's all before you. Everything's manifest. The truth is here. The wicked is being revealed. His works are being revealed. The prophecies are playing out and manifesting right before you. Right? It's all before you. And what else did I title it? It's all before you, and soon it will be too late. Right? It's all before you, and soon it will be too late. All right. It says, "But even though a person sins 100 times and still lives a long time, I know that those who fear Yahweh Shai will be better off." That's why we just gotta keep trucking, keep enduring, because we know right? That we're going to be better off when this society collapses, man. When this thing shuts down, these people are going to go crazy. They're going to be perplexed beyond perplexed. Why? Not just because of everything that's happening and taking place, but because they're going to have the words, all right, of the prophets, which are really the words of Yahweh Shem Shai, running back in their minds. And what else is going to run back in their minds is the mocking and rhetoric and ridicule, okay, that they had towards the words of the Most High, which are spoken by the prophets, which is going to leave you rebellious Israelites in a state of hopelessness, destitute of hope. Okay, so seek the Lord while he may be found before it's too late. This thing, these devils are moving. All right, they are moving. Okay, if you're in the spirit and you're watching, you're seeing these devils move. They're moving extremely fast. The amount of data centers that have been built up throughout the earth in the last 2 years, it's insane. But this is prophecy, right? These devils know that they have a short time, mainly because they see us, starting with the apostles, all right, and the bishops and elders on down of Great Millstone, speaking the truth, calling them out. They know they have a short time, so because they know they have a short time, they're going to come down having great wrath. So seek the Lord while he may be found, man. Even though a person sins 100 times and still lives a long time, I know that those who fear Yahweh Shema Shah will be better off. The wicked will not prosper, for they do not fear Yahweh Shema Shah. Okay, so this is devil's plan of the New World Order. It's not going to prosper. Job 5 tells us the same thing. Okay, as well as Job 20. It says, their days will never grow long like the evening shadows. And this is not all that is meaning. Yeah, that's the point. Let me go back here to Isaiah 30 and finish this up. Isaiah 30 and 12 NLT. This is the reply of the Holy One of Israel. Because you despise what I tell you and trust instead in oppression and lies, okay? Willful ignorance is what that is. Trusting in oppression and lies in 2026, all right, with the prophets bringing out this truth day in and day out, is willful ignorance. Okay, you don't want to get right. Calamity, it's not that you can't get right, but you don't want to get right. Calamity will come upon you suddenly, like a bulging wall that bursts and falls. Okay, in an instant it will collapse and come crashing down. That's the society. Everything you know, all right, and everything you grew up in this world, the idea of education, the idea of what a true family structure is, food, all that nonsense has been taught to you by Esau Edom is going to be done and away with, never to come back. Okay, that it's going to be all hell on earth times 100. Okay, it's already all hell on earth right now. Okay, but it's going to increase. So it says, in an instant, it will collapse and come crashing down. Okay, you will be smashed like a piece of pottery, shattered so completely that there won't be a piece big enough to carry coals from a fireplace or a little water from the well, man. So that's what the Lord is bringing, okay, to you rebellious Israelites that refuse to listen to his words, right? Last verse, it says, this is what the sovereign Lord Yahweh, uh, this is what the sovereign Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel says, only in returning to me and resting in me will you be saved. In quietness and confidence is your strength. Okay, but you would have none of it. All right, you would have none of it. So, therefore, judgment will befall you rebels in a way that will have you seeking for death, but you won't be able to find it. That's what the scriptures say. All right, so this is from Arrows of Indignation 144, subscribe and be edified. And the title of this lesson here is just listen up. Okay, so let's listen up. monitoring us. We are the data, y'all. That's how they do predictive programming or even manipulation program. Maybe you send a text or you say something and then now you start to see ads or whatever. Like, this is exactly what these centers are for. But don't get it twisted, y'all. This is for the beast system. Exactly what this is. The beast system straight out of Revelation. And I hear a lot of people saying that these are going to be the camps, if you know what I mean, the camps, right? It's for them to keep all eyes on everyone at all times through our. He was talking about concentration camps. Or devices, whether that's your phone, your TV, your tablet, your iPad, your smartwatch, your Oura rings, all these different things, these different technology devices that you're wearing or carrying on a day-to-day basis are recording and monitoring us at all times. And this is what it is, fusion centers, there to monitor all of us. Calling it data centers or AI centers, is one thing, but then when you actually find out what it is, changes the whole dynamic. This is our cold water. It's one thing, but then when you actually to monitor all of us, calling it data centers or AI centers, is one thing, but then when you actually find out what it is, changes the whole dynamic. Yeah, I guess because he's calling them, it says data centers equals fusion centers. We are the database system. Yep. Using the earth as a battery to conduct their data centers, but also using human beings as a battery to conduct their B system. Data centers or AI centers, is one thing, but then when you actually find out what it is, changes the whole dynamic. This is our cold water pressure. It says, I live 400 yards from Mark Zuckerberg's data center. Changes the whole dynamic. This is our cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow. And that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah. And this is what's in all the pipes.
Just the wheel itself is probably 20,000. And that's not counting any of the
all the places.
Now imagine this. See everything they have to do? They have to store up, bottles of water, clean water to flush your toilet. And this residue when they use the water from the tap, the dark brown residue from the data center is 400 yards away. Imagine all this while all hell is breaking loose. No 911 calls, right? You have to fight to get food in the grocery store if there's any food left. Oh, man. Okay.
Or the fixtures and faucets, the toilets and the lines that come underneath the house. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
I'm here in Mansfield, Georgia, driving by Meta's new 2 million square foot data center facility. Facilities like this are being used to power things like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming integrated into our daily life.
data centers going to be a very hot item.
This entire supercomputer is built to power Grok.
We see data centers as the most exciting asset class.
Meta is building a 2 gigawatt plus data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
But data centers come with big costs, from light and noise pollution to the environmental impacts to the potential rising costs of energy bills. These facilities put extraordinary demand on the power grid and require entirely new infrastructure.
They should be responsible for that, not us.
Search the internet for profits that Meta has made, Amazon, Microsoft. They can afford to pay for their own generation.
We came to Georgia to ask 2 questions. What's the true cost of the AI revolution? And who should be paying for it?
Yeah, well, why would they pay for it? They can make you guys pay for it. You goy them. Hey, let the goy deal with it. This is let me bring out a couple precepts. This is Isaiah 37. Sorry, not Isaiah, Psalms 37 and 34. All right, Psalms 37, verse 34, it says, wait on the Lord, Yahweh, and keep his ways, right? So in the meantime, as they're developing their beast system, all right, the elect are to what? Wait on the Lord, all right? Continue suffering and enduring our trials and tribulations while everybody else is doing whatever they want to do, okay? Because we're going to reap a reward when this whole thing collapses, okay? Wait on the Lord Yahweh and keep his ways, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land, right? Because starting with 144,000 on down to the rest of the elect, we're looking at this earth and it's vexing, man. It is vexing as hell to not even get a good scent in the air when you go outside. You look in the clouds, you look up in the sky, And what you think are clouds are chemtrails. You go to the grocery store, you got fruits, and there's no seeds in them. This place is vexing, man. Okay, it is vexing. And for really the 144,000 that were there with the house tribe building everything, all right, we have more than something to say about it. But we gotta wait upon the Lord, right? As it says, wait on the Lord Yahweh and keep his ways, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. Okay, when the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. Okay, and we're waiting patiently for that day, man. Fuck. It says, excuse my French, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Okay, and that's what that's what we're witnessing. All right, the way he's spreading himself, he has spread himself financially throughout the earth. He has spread himself educationally through pseudoscience. The whole world is drunk off of this man's wine. Okay, and now you've seen these data centers all over the place. They're all over the earth. Okay, so he's spreading himself like a green bay tree, right? NLT, it says, I have seen the wicked and ruthless people flourishing like a tree in its native soil. Okay, yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Okay, yea, I saw him, but he could not be found. Okay, and that's going to be the result of these Edomites, all right, the destiny and the future of these Edomites after 1,000 years of captivity. Okay, no more translucent creatures roaming the earth, man, not even in the woods. It says, mark the perfect man and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. All right, so again, you see the prophets, right, and you should be able to discern who has the truth and who doesn't. All right, so mark the perfect man. Know who the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai are, which here at Great Millstone, starting with the apostles and bishops and elders on down, we have 100% truth, man. All right, and the Holy Spirit has to be dealing with you for you to see that. It's called the eye salve, okay? Because guess what? The whole world is going to see that the true prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, okay, or who the true prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai are, okay? And at that time, it'll be too late. It'll be too late to seek any help or any understanding. Yeah, so continuing on, verse 38, it says, but the transgressors, okay, let me actually get that word mark. I want to see what it says here. Mark the perfect man, right? All right, the word mark here in the Hebrew is shamar. Yeah, shamar. Okay, shamar. And it says to keep, right? To guard, observe, give heed, right? Give heed to these electronic epistles that we do, right? These videos. To keep, have charge of, guard, keep watch, right? And ward, protect, save life, right? Watch, watchmen. We know what to say about watching, okay? To watch for, wait for, to watch, observe, to keep, restrain, treasure up in memory, Isaiah 33:6. Because these videos won't be here. The prophets won't be here. Soon it will be too late. It's all before you. Soon it will be too late. So treasure these words up in memory. All right? The words of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai, which were spoken by the prophets, the true prophets. To keep within bounds, restrain. Yeah, so you get the point. Protect, preserve, to be on one's guard, take heed. Look at that. It says to keep oneself from, look at that. From what? The destruction, the judgment of the Lord. This is all the Lord's will. So back here, Psalms 37 and 38, but the transgressors shall be destroyed together, and shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. Beautiful. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord Yahweh. He is their strength in the time of trouble. All right. Go from here to get Isaiah 24:5. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have what? They have transgressed the laws. Okay. They don't keep no land Sabbath. You're supposed to have seeds and fruits. They don't do that. Okay. You're polluting the water. You're polluting the air. Everything's polluted. Okay. So they've transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore, have to curse, devoured the earth. Okay. On a macro level. Okay. That's talking about the missiles. The missiles are a curse to the earth because of the wicked that are in rulership. Okay. But on a micro level, so to speak, that's these Edomites. They're a parasite on the earth. All right. Remember the beloved elder brother, Enoch, said that when he came down here in Toronto. Esau is a parasite. I think he did a lesson with Apostle Ramab as well. And it's true. Esau is the parasite of the earth. Okay. As you're seeing, everything he's doing is destroying the earth. Okay. So therefore, have the curse devour the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Okay. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. And everything that this devil is doing, everything that's taking place is going to lead to that. Okay. It's going to lead to World War III. Okay. Which will leave America wiped off the face of the planet, right off the map, completely annihilated, destroyed, and burnt with fire. Israel's going to be burnt with fire. Various parts of the earth will be burnt with fire. Fire is a cleansing agent, but the only place that will not be built back up is America, aka Babylon the Great. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Sick and tired of this place. All right, so let's go. Let's get this here from chat real quick. So this is let's see what it says. I'll just read it from the top here. It's not much. Isaiah 24:5 says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. If you are looking at this passage through the lens of modern environmental concerns, some people see a striking parallel. Isaiah is describing mankind's misuse of the earth, not merely through pollution, but through rebellion. Okay, the pollution is happening through rebellion. Okay, because there's a way to run the earth. There's a way to run the earth. Okay, through rebellion against Yahweh's order. Okay, Yahweh Bashim Shai's order. The earth suffers because of the actions of its inhabitants. When applied to the modern expansion of data centers, AI infrastructure, massive technology, or technological systems, the connection would look something like this. Number one, the earth is defiled by human activity. Isaiah says the earth is defiled because of what mankind has done. Today, critics argue that the rapid growth of data centers places enormous demands on electricity grids, land use, and water resources. And this guy, freaking Bill Gates, has put a whole data center in the ocean. So all the life that's in the ocean there, okay, as far as they can reach, that water is gonna be brown soon. This is why the Lord is speeding up the times. You can see why the Lord is speeding up the times, because if he didn't do so, this devil would destroy everything. As Matthew 24 tells us, I think Matthew 24:22. All right, so some facilities consume millions of gallons of water for cooling and require vast amounts of power. Concerns have been raised about impacts on local water supplies, energy consumption, and ecosystem stress. Okay, it gives us some precepts to correlate with. Related precepts. Number 2, technology without wisdom. Isaiah's prophecy is fundamentally spiritual. The problem is not technology itself, but mankind's pride and disregard for Yahweh's law, Yahweh Bashim Hashai's law. And it's true, like, it's not like the chairs don't have technology, right? That's divine technology, and that's all coming on the earth. But it's this devil, man. He could do a lot of great things with what the Lord has given him, but he's the devil. The scriptures say that the heart that's within him is not upright. A prophetic application could be the more humanity gains power, the more it consumes the resources of the earth without regard for long-term consequences. And this shows you the pride of this devil, man, because here you are boasting yourself against the Most High, right? And against everything he has made, but you need what he has made to power your new world order. Complete nonsense, man. Okay. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee. This resembles a warning in Daniel 12:4. Knowledge shall be increased. Yeah. And we read Ecclesiastes 8:11. Number 3, the earth groans under human corruption. Paul echoes Isaiah's theme. The whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Yeah, that's Romans 8:22. Maybe I should get that. I had that tied up. Romans 8 linked up. Romans 8:22. It reads, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit. Even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body, man. Shit. Come on now. It says, for we are slaves by hope, for we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doeth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then we do wait patiently for it. That's right. Very continuing prophecy. Occupy thyself in prophecy. It says many believers see environmental degradation, pollution, resource depletion, and ecological strain as manifestations of creation groaning under fallen mankind. That's right. I'm going to read that one more time. It says many believers see environmental degradation, population, resource depletion, and ecological strain as manifestations of creation groaning under fallen mankind, right? Under Esau, Edom, the wicked. So the message is that widespread corruption eventually brings consequences. Yeah, that's true. Of course. All right. It says, putting it all together, a prophetic reading of Isaiah 24:5 could be summarized this way. Mankind, right, was entrusted with the earth, starting with Adam, the sons of God, but then the heathens have had their time to rule the earth, pursuant to the prophecy of Daniel. And we're at that really we're at the legs of that statue, right? The toes of iron and miry clay, representing the European, the EU, different EU countries being economically stronger than others, right? We're at the extension of the seventh horn, which is the eighth horn. So mankind was entrusted with the earth, but through greed, pride, and disregard of Yahweh Bashim Hashai's order, the inhabitants have defiled it, whether through warfare, pollution, exploitation of resources, or modern technological systems that place interest or increasing burdens on land, water, and energy. The earth bears the consequences of human rebellion, and so do we, starting with the first fruits. Okay, I just read Romans 8. Our whole body, everything in creation is yearning, okay, crying out, starting with the first fruits. Isaiah sees this not merely as an environmental issue, but as a spiritual, it is an environmental issue. The hell? Chat's going off here. But it starts, right? It starts as a spiritual one. The corruption of creation flowing from the corruption of man. That's right. Okay. So anyways, let's continue back in that quick. Get rid of this.
The house is here, and the data center is right there.
It's less than 400 yards.
Beverly and Jeff Morris bought their home an hour's drive from downtown Atlanta. Is next into artificial.
Everything. They destroyed the.
Let's skip ahead. Let's get to 5 minutes in.
Here, and we started having issues with our well in 2018. Have to replace a hot water heater. I've replaced 2 washing machines and a dishwasher because of the sediment that's coming in.
A lot of what the Morrises are facing is from the polluting effects of this massive construction, but that's only one part of the story. There are serious costs to communities once data centers are operational too. To explain that, we have to back up for a second. I wouldn't blame you if you were asking yourself, what the heck is a data center anyway? Their origins date back to early, clunky supercomputers or mainframes in the 1950s and 60s. And then in the 90s, with the birth of the internet, the modern data center was born as a way for internet providers to connect businesses and the world to the web. In the 2010s, data centers became larger as they became critical to new cloud storage.
To the cloud. To the cloud, we share a sync folder that allows us to all work on the same documents.
Everything from your pet photos to entire workplaces to files for video streaming, like this video you're watching right now. We're in the cloud. Today, we are in the midst of a tectonic shift in processing needs, as large as the birth of the internet. Artificial intelligence.
A transformational moment for data center demand.
But the thing is, AI processing demands are much larger. One report showed that a Google search using a ChatGPT-like AI feature used 30 times as much power as a normal Google search. In the next 3 years, data center use of electricity is expected to double or even triple. And the state of Georgia has the fastest data center growth in the entire country.
The 2 biggest reasons data centers come to Georgia are that electricity rates for industrials, which is the class that they're in, are 42% below the national average. And the second biggest one are data center tax breaks. They received over $180 million in tax breaks last year.
The week we were in Georgia, a showdown was happening at the state capitol over 2 bills tied to data centers.
Senator Hofstadter.
Yeah, and this is all over the world, right? This is going back to the prophecy here in Revelation 17. All right, Revelation 17 and 17 to the point. It says, for Yahweh, Hashem Shai, hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will. This is his will. Everything that's happening is the will of the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls God, and the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. This is their will. Okay, because the ending of this is the perfection of the saints, starting with the elect, going down to the rest of the Israelites that will come back, 2/3 that will come back in the kingdom of heaven. Rulership, being one with the Most High as true sons of God. It is all for his children. All right, starting with 144,000, Yahweh Shai on down. It says, or Yahweh Shai on down with 144,000, the rest of the innumerable multitude. For Yahweh has put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, right, in all its forms, right? Basically, economically. This is why they're talking about an AI race. We have to beat China. We have to beat China, right? And give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua shall be fulfilled.
Proposed 2 different bills, and one of them was SB 34, which was the data centers bill, to move the burden of the operational costs of data centers from ratepayers to the data centers themselves.
And what is SB 94?
That is the Consumer Utility Council, a legal advocate for ratepayers and small businesses.
Bills like these are the result of mounting residential anger and the work of dedicated advocates across the state, like Diana Dietz, who lives 50 miles away from the Capitol in Fayette County.
This is a huge industrial project plopped in a residential area. This was the original plan, 122 acres. And then the Development Authority got involved.
In 2022, officials in Fayette County voted to annex and rezone an additional 412 acres for a data center campus. Fayetteville City Council voted 5-0 in favor of the development, despite passionate opposition from some local residents. The site was then purchased by QTS, which is owned by Blackstone, for $153.8 million.
These speculators, investors, are secretly buying up land right next to homeowners. And it was all done so that when we all went to the 4 public hearings between the county and the city, it was a done deal. This is the one that's currently under construction, and this is where Gene and Joe are.
Gene and Joe Marshall live on the edge of Fayetteville in Fayette County on an 8-acre property.
This driveway is almost the line for Fayette County versus Fayetteville, where QTS's property is located. We have absolutely no say in anything that happens over here.
Despite their vocal opposition to the project, living next to construction on all sides of their home has become their daily reality for the last 2 years.
They do nightly tours over here, and in the back part at the other building, the lights are shining and there is noise. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So they don't stop. Oh yeah, for sure.
We went to visit Nikki Vanderslice, who heads up the Fayette County Economic Development Authority, a non-governmental agency that...
Yeah. Okay, so let's get these 2 precepts. That's it. Habakkuk chapter 2. All right, verse 4, it reads, Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. That's all we got to do. All right, do everything we can do within this grace period to strengthen our faith. Because, I mean, starting with the apostles, bishops, and others on down, we didn't broke down everything. And we're just going over again, over and over and over and over again until the Lord tells us to stop. Okay? So we should live by faith and continue on. It says here, verse 4 in the NLT, look at the proud. They trust in themselves and their lives are crooked. But the righteous will live by their faithfulness to Yahweh Bashem Shai. Okay? Back in the King James, it says, yea, also because he transgresses by wine, right? His policies, making policies, like she said, that lady in that video, and to make all these policies to buy up land, privately buying up land, buying up land, right by all these homeowners and these farmers. So yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell. Exactly. And is as deaf, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what is being done. Okay, and this is going to be done via the chip, right? By the way of data. Everything is about data. You as a human being are just going to be counted as data if you take the chip. You're already counted as data. All the framework is already here, as we can see, right? All these data centers, but it's just about that black swan event to create the condition for people to go ahead and take it. Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, say, woe unto him that increaseth in that which is not his, right? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Okay, America as a whole, right, on a macro level, we know that thick clay is going into debt, right? But also on a micro level, the infrastructure of these of the New World Order, this digital infrastructure, with these data centers, is increasing, all right, bills and the price of water, price of electricity everywhere. Okay, which as things get more expensive, debt grows. Okay, so let's go from here. Revelation 11:18 or 11:8. Or yeah, 18. This is Revelation 11:18, and it reads, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead." Okay, which is talking about, that starts with the heathens, right? Esau, Edom, the rest of the heathens, but you can toss 2/3 in there because they are spiritually dead. So, and the nations were angry, and in thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy saints, the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them that which destroyeth the earth. Okay. And the temple of Yahweh was open in heaven, and there was seen in his temple. Oh, slack it. Nope, the point was just verse 18. Let me read in the NLT. It says, the nations were filled with wrath, but now the time of your wrath has come. It is time to judge the dead. Okay? That's how you know it's talking about people alive, because how you judge the dead if they're already dead. Okay, it's parabolic for those who are dead in the spirit, 2/3 of our people, and Esau, Edom, and the heathens. And reward your servants, the prophets, as well as your holy people, and all who fear your name, from the least to the greatest. It is time to destroy all who have caused destruction on earth. And that's what we're waiting on, man. Okay? So in the meantime, as we wait, we are to strengthen our faith and continue serving Yahweh Shem Shai with all fear and trembling, man. So with that, I'm going to close off, Lord willing. This lesson was straightforward and edifying to the hopeful elect. I'm going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rafa HaKadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders, again, most who rule well and have taught me his word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the elect, starting with 144,000 on down. Above all, Kwame Sala, and Shalom to the elect, man. Stay strong. Stay strong.